How much money do I need to start day trading? That is the number one question that people ask when they're considering day trading. When they want to start day trading and they want to start getting information, that is the number one question that people ask. I wish that I would have done a little more research into this. It has definitely cost me more money than I would have ever thought it was, and there's several reasons for that. But what I want to do here is to try to answer that question. It is going to vary from person to person, the type of trading you do, how long it takes you to become successful. If you're trading stocks and bonds versus if you're trading crypto versus if you're trading futures, all these things, all those things are going to change a little bit. So you're going to need to do some deep diving into the instruments and the type of trading you want to do. Also, if you're day trading, this is for day trading, which means you're not going to hold any positions overnight typically. So let's get started in. This is just an overview. We're going to talk about the capitals, the tools, some of the hidden costs, and some of the things you need to consider before you start day trading. Capital requirements. If you want to trade stocks and you want to trade, it's the rule is 3 trades per week or 3 trades over a 5-day period. Your account has to have a $25,000 minimum. So you're going to need at least that much, probably a little bit more if you want to have a little buffer to be able to trade stocks with most brokerages. There might be some ways around that. I don't trade stocks in that way, so I don't know. But something to look at, something you need to consider. Futures, I trade futures. You can open a futures account for, I've heard of brokerages that will open them with less than $1,000. Typically, though, you're going to need $1,000 to $5,000. Challenge is futures are highly leveraged, so it can you can blow that $5,000 account really easy if you don't know what you're doing. Forex, crypto, 500 to 200. I've heard of people opening Forex accounts for $20. Again, I don't trade Forex, but something to look into. Futures, that's where I trade, and what I do is I use prop firms. I'll get into that a little bit more. The brokerage cost. Most of your brokerages anymore, you don't pay a commission to buy stocks. It just depends on if you have a discount broker or where you're trading at. But options, about 65 cents to $1 per contract. Futures, you're going to pay about $1 to $2, $3, depending if it's a discount broker or not per contract. And by the way, when you most of these, when you're paying a commission, you pay a commission when you buy it, you pay a commission when you sell it. I pay 51 cents per side, so for me to get in and out, I pay $1.02 per contract. So if I trade 10 contracts, that's going to cost me $10 or $1.02 times 10. So market data fees. If you some brokerages will provide those for you. Most of them you're going to be required to pay for market data. You need that information. Again, if you're day trading, you need real-time live data, and that could cost you anywhere from $3 to $50 a month. I think I pay $7, $8 a month for my data. Prop firms. Okay, and I'm not going to get into the details of what a prop firm is. It's just a way for you to trade, learn trading with a high upside with a very low initial cost. An eval, because prop firms, you're going to buy an eval, you have to pass that. After you pass it, it turns into a funded, and then some of them even have a third step. So it's going to cost you anywhere from $15 to $500 per account for an eval, and then you have to pass that. If you don't pass it and you fail it, you have to pay for a reset. Resets are typically less or the same as what it costs you to buy the eval. Funded a cost, once you pass an eval, you can turn it into a funded account. And typically there's a lifetime fee for that, or there's a monthly. If you blow the funded account, you have to start over with a brand new eval. And so I can get into an eval and funded account for around $100 to $150 if I can catch them on sale. And there's a whole bunch of prop firms out there. I'm not going to get into the prop firms on this one. I do use Apex. I would recommend Apex, but there's a lot of good ones out there. Trading platform. There are a lot of trading platforms. There is TradingView, there's NinjaTrader, there's Thinkorswim, there is Bookmap, there is Sierra Charts. All of these are going to have a different cost. And I will tell you that highly recommend you look at TradingView. They have a free account, which lets you start using. The only problem with the free one, I believe the data is delayed, but they do have a free account, and it's pretty limited on what you can do. But there's 3 different levels, and based upon where you want to, how many accounts you want to do, how many indicators you want to use, TradingView is one of the best out there. There's a lot of videos on tutorials on how to use it, how to make it work. It's very simple to do. It is web-based, so you don't have to put this big, massive computer, have to have a big, massive computer to run it. It runs off the web. Pretty reliable. Most traders that trade use or have used TradingView, so I would highly recommend it. There will be a link in the description below on where you can get more information on TradingView. Hardware. You need a computer. The good thing is, depending with the way things are anymore, a lot of this stuff is web-based. You don't need as big a computer. If you use something like Sierra Charts runs off your computer. You need a little bit bigger computer, a little faster. But most people can trade with just a simple off-the-shelf laptop. You can do it. But of course, once you start trading, you'll start figuring out what you do need, what you don't need, and probably start upgrading and getting better. I run 4 monitors. I can run more than that. To run that many monitors, I need more graphics cards. More graphics cards, more cost. You have to have internet. Depending on where you're at, it's going to cost you. I've got 50 to 100, but actually, I think I pay 28. Maybe I don't. Anyway, 50 to 100 a month. Let's just put it there. Backup hotspot recommended. If you don't have reliable internet, you need a way to back up. If your internet goes down and you're in a trade, that is not any fun. And you need a way to be able to either close that trade or monitor that trade. So something to think about, depending on where you're at. I have pretty reliable internet. I think in the last 5 years, I've only lost internet one time while I was in a trade, and I was able to connect with my phone and close the trade. Education and training. You can spend a lot of money here. And a word of caution, just don't go jumping into any course. I do have a couple that I'm going to recommend, but for a basic course, and the reason I say don't jump in, do your research. Some of these guys out there selling courses, they're good at selling courses, but they're not good at trading. So do your homework. But you can spend anywhere from $200 to $2,000 or even higher than that on a course. If you don't know anything about trading, YouTube is a great resource to begin to learn. Be careful there because, again, there's a lot of information out there. I am going to be putting a video out on strategies. What strategies should a new trader begin to use? There's a lot of different strategies, and every person has a different strategy, a different way they trade. So that's something you're going to need to learn. I've been trading since '97, but consistently since 2022, and I have changed my strategy multiple times. I do have one strategy I primarily use now and that I've used over the last year. So it's all these things are important, and you need to learn. Mentorship, $1,000 to $10,000, and I'd say even higher than that, depending on who's doing it. I'm going to recommend 2. Adora Trading. You can do a search on that. it'll pop up, and Dodgy DD. There's a link for Dodgy in the comments below. Both of those trade what we call ICT. If you've been around any length of time, you've run across what is ICT, but they both teach ICT. Books and communities. When communities would be like Discord, there's a lot of guys that charge for their Discord, so you can watch streaming services. That's going to be anywhere. Some of them are $5-10, some of them are $100, some are $200, some are even more than that. You can watch them trade live. That's a good thing. Books, you're going to want to read some books. I do have a video out there on what are the top 5 books that I recommend for trading. You're going to need to get some books. You're going to need to learn, because you're going to deal with things like psychology. You're going to want to learn things about strategies. You're going to want to learn things about how are other people doing that, how to read a chart, what type of charts do you use, what type of candles do you use, do you use bar candles. What are you going to do? Those are things that you're going to need. Books can help you with. And YouTube is a great way, and that's free. Tools, scanners. I don't use a scanner. Scanners are for stocks. There's so many stocks out there, and there's services that do that. There's programs that do that. Anywhere from probably $50 a month up to $200-300 a month that go through and scan all the stocks to look for the best opportunities. Backtesting software, you're going to want to learn to backtest. Just because somebody says a strategy is good doesn't mean that strategy is going to work for you. You need to be able to get in there and test that strategy. Backtesting software is a great way to do that. I recommend TradeZilla. And the reason I recommend that is you can also track your charts, keep track of your winners, losers. You can keep track of the tag them on, is it a morning trade, night trade? Is it what strategy you use? And you can track all that stuff and begin to collect data on what works for you and what doesn't. I highly recommend TradeZilla. FX Replay, that's a good one, but that is purely just for backtesting. You can do the same thing in TradeZilla, and there will be a link in that in the comments as well. News feeds, I just use what's on the internet. I don't get live news feed information. They are available. There's some out there, depending on if you're gonna, depending on what you're trading. I don't rely a lot on news because I just read the charts, read the bars. Study that, look into that. Risk management. Oh, I have a lot to say here. Some brokers provide some risk management in the fact that they will, you can tell them, hey, turn my account off if I get to a certain loss, or only let me trade so many of these, contracts, or only so many stocks. Brokers will do that on a limited basis. But the one I highly recommend is the Guardian Angel Trader. I have videos out there on that. I can turn at the end of the day, like today, I was profitable. I went and locked myself out so I couldn't trade for the rest of the day. I will also lock myself out if I reach my daily loss limit, if I reach a maximum trade limit. There's several things. There's a lot of functionality to the Guardian Angel Trader. It is a one-time fee. A link in the comments below. I do use this. I use it every single day, and it has been a lifesaver for me. It's helped me develop some of that discipline that I need to walk away when I need to walk away, and I would highly recommend it, especially in the beginning, because you're going to be dealing with emotions, and you're going to find out, why do I get so worked up when I'm in a trade? Why do I go on tilt and blow my account because I've had some losses, or I didn't get the win that I thought I was going to get? Guardian Angel Trader, great way to prevent some of that. Quant Guard, that's another one, and it does the same thing, except it is a monthly fee, anywhere from $75 to $150. Guardian Angel Trader, I will say, only works on NinjaTrader platform, which means you need to have a brokerage that lets you trade through NinjaTrader. QuantGuard, I believe, only works through a couple brokerages, and I believe that's also NinjaTrader, but I don't know that for sure. I don't use QuantGuard, but you can look that up if that appeals to you. Look up Guardian Angel Trader. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Hidden cost. Okay. Slippage. That's a huge thing, you know, especially if the market's really volatile. You can get in at a cost and then find out that the market's moving so fast that you got a really bad entry, which means your risk could be a little bit more, and therefore you could take a stop and a little bigger than what you wanted to take. Margin interest, that's not really a case unless you're trading a live futures account, but that's something you need to look at. Learning losses, 3 to 6 months. I would say that's really, really, really optimistic. Plan on having losses for the first 12 months to 24 months. It can take you a while to learn. It's going to take you've got to learn. You know what it takes? It takes time on the charts. That's why some of the streaming services can be good. There are some out there for $25 you can watch. Just make sure they're a good trader. Make them show the receipts that they are a good trader, that they're making money and they are successful. Dodgy DG is a great one. He does. He's really good. He walks the talk. Learning losses, just be prepared that it could take you a while and it may take you longer than expected. So startup, you can spend anywhere for crypto, anywhere from 500 to 2,000. Stocks, 27,000 again because of pattern day trader rule. Futures, 2,100 to 5,000. Prop firms are going to cost you about $100 to $500 in and out for the eval and for the funded account. So, and if you blow that, you get to start over. The good thing is you can build that funded account to a point that you can start getting payouts on it. So it's a nice way to be able to trade without risking a lot of money, but you can also get a payout. You can make money. There's guys that are making a lot of money just on prop firms. Count the cost. There's a verse in Luke that talks about what person doesn't count the costs before they start a project. Trading has a steep learning curve, but for those who are willing to stick it out, the world is yours. And I sincerely mean that. It is a journey that's going to test you. It's a journey that's going to show you what you're made of, but it's a great thing. Don't compare yourself to others. There are people that are going to start trading, and in 3 months they're going to be profitable and they're just kicking butt. And then there's guys that have been doing it 5 years. The average person, I'm going to say, is trading probably 2 to 4 years before they really become profitable. I just want to wish you the best. Be blessed, and I hope that answers some of your questions. Leave me a comment and like and subscribe if you got something out of this. Thanks.